Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In a world where emotions can feel like turbulent waves, how do we find our anchor? How can we remain steady when life's wings howl around us? Join us as we explore 7 Stoic lessons that hold the key to mastering your emotions and navigating life's storms with unwavering resolve. Before we begin, I'd truly appreciate it if you gave this video a like it. Help support the continued sharing of Stoic philosophy. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I highly recommend doing so and activating the bell so you won't miss any future insights. Lesson number 1. Understand what's in your control. Have you ever found yourself caught in a storm, not the kind filled with thunder and lightning, but one made of life's unpredictable turns? A missed opportunity, a broken plan, or an unexpected challenge. These emotional tempests can shake even the strongest among us. But the Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome offered a principle that acts like an anchor in such moments. The dichotomy of control. Picture this. You've spent weeks planning a beautiful outdoor celebration. Guests have been invited, food arranged, decorations hung. But as the day arrives, dark clouds gather, and then it rains. You can't control the weather, no matter how much you wish it were different. But here's the truth. Your response to the rain? That's entirely yours to command. You could grow angry or feel defeated. Or you could adapt, move the gathering indoors, laugh under umbrellas, see the downpour not as a disaster, but as something unexpected and maybe even refreshing. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who was once a slave and later became one of history's most respected thinkers, put it simply, some things are in our control and others are not. It may sound straightforward, but within that simplicity lies profound power. Every day, we encounter countless situations. Some we can shape: our habits, the books we choose to read, the people we allow into our lives. Others remain firmly outside our grasp: the actions of others, the shifting tides of global events, the slow march of time, and yes, the weather. What's truly transformative is the Stoic belief that our happiness and inner peace do not depend on the world around us, but on how we interpret what happens. It's not the event itself that stirs us, it's our judgment of it. A harsh comment, a missed promotion, or a closed door may trigger emotional responses, but those reactions are born from how we see the situation, not the situation itself. Think back. Was there a time you faced a setback that, in the moment, felt like the end of the road? Perhaps not landing that job or failing at something important. But later, did you realize it led to a better path or deeper personal growth? So how do we apply this lesson in daily life? Begin by asking a simple yet powerful question. Is this within my control? If the answer is yes, take thoughtful action. If the answer is no, it becomes a moment to practice acceptance, resilience, and grace. By truly absorbing and living this principle, we begin to loosen the grip of unnecessary worry and emotional turmoil. We discover a steady calm and inner lighthouse, knowing that while we cannot control the winds, we can adjust our sails. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, the dichotomy of control becomes more than just a philosophical idea. It becomes a beacon of clarity. It reminds us with gentle insistence to focus our energy where it truly matters and to embrace a sense of serenity that comes from recognizing some things are simply beyond our grasp. Lesson number 2. Reflect before reacting. In today's fast-paced digital age where quick replies, instant likes, and rapid responses are not only common, but often expected, the timeless art of reflection can seem like something forgotten, a relic from another era. Yet it is precisely this act of slowing down, of pausing before we respond, that can serve as our saving grace in moments of tension and emotional intensity. Consider how many times a day we face decisions, both big and small, from something as routine as choosing what to eat for lunch to life-altering choices like shifting careers or making a major commitment. The range of decisions we make is broad and ever-present, but it's not just the size of these decisions that matters. What truly shapes our experience is how we approach them. Let's take a familiar example: receiving a message that hits a nerve. Maybe a colleague questions your performance, or perhaps a close friend tosses out an offhand remark that stings more than they realize. The natural impulse? A surge of defensiveness, irritation, or even hurt. But what if just for a moment you didn't immediately respond? What if, instead of plunging into the emotional whirlpool, you paused, took a breath, and allowed space between stimulus and response? This small gap is not about bottling up emotions or pretending to feel nothing. It's about granting your feelings room to breathe, to be acknowledged and understood. Reflection doesn't mean passivity. It means stepping back just enough to actively engage with your inner world. You might ask yourself, why did that comment trigger me? Is there an old wound it touched? Am I reacting to the present moment or to something much older? By doing this, you're not just exploring your own reactions, you're cultivating empathy. Because when we slow down and reflect, we begin to see others more clearly too. Maybe that colleague was having a rough day. Perhaps your friend didn't realize how deeply their words could cut. Through reflection, we unlock a door to understanding, not just of ourselves, but of those around us. This habit, though subtle, can reshape our relationships. How many conflicts could be solved or avoided entirely if we practiced reflection before reaction? How many bridges might remain standing or even be built anew if we gave ourselves the grace to pause? In personal relationships, this approach fosters compassion and deeper connection. In professional settings, it becomes an invaluable asset. Leaders who reflect before responding are often admired for their poise and wisdom. They aren't seen as indecisive, they're viewed as thoughtful, discerning, and dependable. Their choices, grounded in reflection rather than impulse, tend to be wiser and more in a world that often feels like it's moving at breakneck speed. The act of reflection becomes something rare and powerful. It is, in many ways, quiet rebellion, a gentle yet firm refusal to be swept away by the currents of immediacy. It surrounds us, constantly pushing us to react, respond, and decide at the speed of light. But choosing to pause, to reflect before reacting, is more than just a counterbalance. It's a commitment to ourselves, to our well-being, and to the quality of our interactions with the world. In essence, to reflect before reacting is more than just a useful practice. It is a philosophy, a conscious way of living that elevates depth over speed, understanding over knee-jerk reactions, and meaningful connection over fleeting encounters. It invites us to go inward, to explore the why behind our reactions. And in doing so, it shapes not only our responses, but also the very fabric of our lives, moment by moment. Lesson number 3. Practice DISPA, says ION. In a world that often feels like an emotional roller coaster with highs that soar and lows that sink, the idea of practicing dispassion might seem, at first glance, out of sync or even cold. But take a closer look. Dispassion doesn't mean we stop feeling, caring, or participating in life. Instead, it calls us to cultivate something rare and precious, a balanced perspective, a calm at the center of chaos. What does that look like in practice? Imagine observing events, news stories, personal setbacks, conflicts, and even your own swirling emotions, without being swept away by them. Think back to the last time you watched a powerful film. You might have felt suspense, sorrow, or joy, fully immersed in the story, but you didn't leap into the screen. You didn't try to change the outcome. A part of you always knew, it's just a movie. That's the heart of dispassion. It's not about indifference. It's about engagement without entanglement. To sit in the theater of your mind, watching the emotional scenes unfold, feeling them but not becoming them. You remain grounded, even as the world spins around you. This mindset is especially critical in today's hyper-connected, stimulus-heavy world. Each day, we're flooded with updates, alerts, opinions, and arguments. To react intensely to every ping, every headline, would leave us drained and overwhelmed. Practicing dispassion offers us a buffer, a mental space that allows us to interact with the world more sustainably, more peacefully. In our relationships, this skill becomes even more essential. We've all experienced heated moments, debates that escalate too quickly, words said in frustration. In such situations, dispassion can make all the difference. It creates space between you and your immediate emotional impulse, allowing you to listen, to understand, and to respond rather than react. It fosters conversations built on clarity, not chaos. But how do we get there? Dispassion begins with self-awareness, checking in with ourselves, noticing the rise of anger, the pull of anxiety, the sting of criticism. It's about recognizing our triggers and observing our emotional patterns. This awareness carves out the space we need between what happens and how we respond to it. As base lies something powerful: freedom. The freedom to choose intentional action over automatic reaction. To act with purpose, not just with passion. And while the word dispassion might sound like detachment from life's joys, in reality, it allows us to experience those joys more deeply. Because we're no longer clinging to outcomes or letting temporary emotions dictate our state of being. We can truly savor the moment. By not being overly attached to outcomes, we can fully immerse ourselves in the journey, savoring each moment without the constant fear of loss or change. That's the gift of practicing dispassion, creating space between ourselves and our emotions so we can see clearly. It's about finding equilibrium in an ever-changing world where certainty is fleeting and the unexpected often knocks at our door. Dispassion becomes a compass that points us inward toward inner peace. It guides us across life's shifting landscapes with steadiness and grace. By embracing this practice, we not only enrich our own emotional lives, but we also bring a calm presence, a ripple of clarity, to those around us. Lesson number 4. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Life is filled with countless moments that test our patience, challenge our resilience, and stretch our perspective. From spilled coffee on an important morning to deeper struggles like tension with loved ones or a missed career opportunity. Our days are often interrupted by events that trigger strong emotional responses. In the heat of the moment, it's incredibly easy to be consumed by what feels urgent. A missed deadline, a curt remark from someone we respect, or even forgetting an important date. These can all feel devastating. But in such moments, there's one powerful question we can ask that immediately reframes the situation. Will this matter in 5 years? This seemingly simple question acts like a mental time machine. It carries us forward into the future, inviting you to look back at the present moment from a new vantage point. Suddenly, what felt like a crisis begins to shrink in size. That harsh comment, the awkward meeting, the traffic jam, they lose their power to derail our peace. Think about it. How many of the things that worried or frustrated you 5 years ago still hold any weight today? Chances are, many have faded. into insignificance, replaced by new priorities, fresh experiences, and valuable life lessons. Realizing this is both humbling and liberating. It reminds us of how temporary many of our current stressors really are. Using this question as a mental checkpoint allows us to filter what's worth our emotional energy and what's not. It helps us tell the difference between passing discomfort and true, lasting impact. For instance, a tough day at work might feel like a major setback now, but in the scope of a decades-long career, it's barely a blip. By applying this perspective, we gain something invaluable: resilience. Instead of becoming entangled in momentary problems, we can step back, breathe, and begin thinking clearly. We shift from emotional reaction to thoughtful response. We problem solve, we adapt, we keep going, knowing that time often reveals solutions we couldn't see in the moment. But this question doesn't just help us minimize what's insignificant, it also magnifies what is important. It turns our attention to what will matter in 5 years. Our relationships, our character, our values, and the time we invest in personal growth. These are the things that endure. In a fast-paced world that often fixates on the now, the question, will this matter in 5 years? Serves as a quiet but steady beacon. It lights the path toward a life of meaning, perspective, and peace. By making this question part of our regular self-reflection, we gain the power to rise above the noise and respond to life's challenges with intention and clarity. By regularly revisiting this question, we can navigate life's ups and downs with grace, ensuring that our energy and attention are directed towards what truly counts. Lesson number 5. Keep a Stoic journal. Throughout history, journaling has been revered not only as a method of recording daily events, but also as a sacred tool for introspection, clarity, and personal evolution. Across cultures and generations, writing has served as a mirror, one that reflects both who we are and who we strive to become. The Stoics, known for their deep focus on self-awareness and inner discipline, were passionate advocates of this timeless practice. A Stoic journal is not merely a diary of activities or events. It is a mental and emotional sanctuary, a private space where we examine ourselves with honesty and courage. It is a place for thoughtful reflection, a dialogue with our inner selves, a stage where our emotions, reactions, and decisions are laid bare and studied with curiosity rather than judgment. It is in this space that the external world meets the internal, where what happens around us is held up against our personal values and beliefs. Imagine ending your day not just by listing what occurred, but by exploring how you responded and why. Why did a certain comment sting more than expected? What brought that unexpected moment of joy while doing something seemingly mundane? By unpacking the day in this way, we begin to uncover the recurring patterns of our inner life. We start identifying emotional triggers, decision-making tendencies, and habits that influence our well-being. Over time, we don't just remember what we did, we understand who we are becoming. Consider Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. His personal journal, now famously known as Meditations, was never intended for public eyes. It was a deeply private method he used to guide himself, reaffirm his values, and apply Stoic principles amidst the immense pressures of leadership and daily life. His writings reveal a man earnestly grappling with responsibility, ego, uncertainty, and the transient nature of life. And through that, they offer us a model for how we too might wrestle with our own complexities. But you don't have to rule an empire to benefit from this practice. In our modern world saturated with notifications, stress, and distractions, active writing things down becomes even more essential. Setting aside just a few minutes each day to pause and reflect is like creating an island of calm in a chaotic sea. This daily check-in becomes a grounding ritual, a moment to reclaim clarity, presence, and focus. Over time, something powerful happens. Patterns begin to emerge. You may discover that specific types of events consistently create stress, an invitation to either address them directly or shift your mindset around them. You may find that certain practices like gratitude or mindfulness boost your overall mood and sense of balance. These insights become a personal roadmap for transformation. But beyond insight, a Stoic journal also cultivates accountability. When we regularly reflect on our reactions and choices, it becomes much harder to ignore repeated missteps or to make excuses for our behavior. Each page becomes a silent but firm reminder to grow, to improve, to choose better next time. It gently pushes us toward becoming the version of ourselves we respect most. In essence, keeping a Stoic journal is like having a quiet, wise companion, one who listens without judgment, observes without distraction, and always nudges you back toward your highest principles. It is a daily active commitment to live deliberately, with integrity, and in alignment with one's values. Lesson number 6. See obstacles as opportunities. The world is rife with challenges, from personal setbacks to global upheavals. Obstacles are, and always have been, an unavoidable part of the human journey. Whether they come in the form of failed plans, unexpected losses, or moments of uncertainty, they confront us all. But what if we began to shift our mindset? What if, instead of seeing these challenges purely as burdens, we began to recognize them as hidden opportunities, gifts in disguise? The Stoics embraced this powerful idea wholeheartedly. They taught that while we may not always have control over what happens to us, we always have control over how we respond. This shift in thinking, from resistance to receptivity, can turn even the harshest adversity into a source of strength and insight. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, captured this wisdom in a simple yet profound line. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the very things we perceive as roadblocks may, in fact, be the stepping stones that carry us forward. Picture a river encountering a massive boulder in its path. Does it halt, defeated? No. Over time, it either carves a new path or slowly wears the stone away. The obstacle, rather than stopping the flow, becomes a catalyst redirecting the current, reshaping the land, guiding the river towards something new. In much the same way, life's challenges can redirect us, push us to grow, and even lead us toward unimagined outcomes. Take, for instance, the loss of a job. While initially painful and destabilizing, it might later reveal itself as a turning point, a moment that opened the door to a new career, an entrepreneurial path, or a chance to finally pursue a long-suppressed passion, or consider the end of a relationship. Though heartbreaking at first, it could become a period of intense personal growth, fostering self-understanding and preparing us for deeper, more authentic future connections. The Stoic lens doesn't just invite us to find meaning in difficulty, it builds resilience. When we learn to greet challenges not with dread, but with curiosity and courage, we become more adaptable, more capable of navigating life's inevitable storms. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we begin to ask, "What is this here to teach me?" Or, "How can this experience shape me into someone wiser or stronger?" Of course, adopting this perspective doesn't mean we minimize real pain or seek out hardship for its own sake. Life is full of genuine trials, and honoring our emotions in those moments is part of the process. But within every obstacle lies the seed of transformation. And when we tend to that seed with patience, perspective, and determination, we empower ourselves to turn barriers into breakthroughs, Obstacles, then, become part of our evolution, not detours, but essential elements of the path itself. They teach us to be fluid like the river, strong like the stone, and open like the sky. They become not just events we survive, but experiences that refine who we are. Lesson number 7. Practice gratitude. The mundane, the lessons and challenges, and the fleeting nature of every experience making it all the more precious. Seneca, one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, once remarked, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." In this simple statement lies the powerful heart of gratitude, a conscious presence, a deep appreciation for the now, for what is rather than what might be. Gratitude anchors us. It reminds us that the richness of life isn't found in extravagant events or distant dreams, but in the everyday moments we so often overlook. Think about it. How often do we rush through life, eyes fixed on the next goal, the next achievement, without pausing to notice the gifts already around us? The soft golden light of morning, the comforting smell of a familiar meal, a shared laugh that cuts through the noise of the day. These moments may seem small, even ordinary, but when viewed through the lens of gratitude, they become extraordinary. By taking time to truly acknowledge and savor these experiences, we enhance their value in our lives. Gratitude magnifies the beauty of the present. It helps us shift focus from what's missing to what's already here, nurturing contentment and quieting the endless pursuit of more. Instead of being trapped in cycles of desire, fear, or regret, we find peace in what is, and it doesn't require grand gestures or hours of reflection. Cultivating gratitude can begin with something as simple as writing down 3 things you're grateful for at the beginning or end of the day. It could be a kind word from a friend, a moment of stillness, or simply the ability to breathe freely. Over time, this consistent practice rewires our perspective, making us more attuned to life's subtle blessings and more resilient in the face of life's inevitable storms. Beyond its personal benefits, gratitude strengthens our relationships. When we take the time to express appreciation, whether for small favors, emotional support, or acts of love, we reinforce trust and connection. It creates a ripple effect, fostering an atmosphere of mutual respect and kindness. These expressions of thanks, however simple, can transform interactions and deepen the emotional bonds that make life richer. In a society that constantly urges us to strive for more wealth, more status, more accomplishment, gratitude offers a gentle, necessary pause. It reminds us that abundance isn't always about accumulation, but recognition. Gratitude helps us see what we already possess with clearer eyes and fuller hearts. It's a call to celebrate the present, to embrace the now with humility and joy, and to walk the path of life with a heart quietly overflowing. And as the sun sets on another day, we are left with this ancient but ever-relevant wisdom. How will you harness these Stoic lessons to shape your tomorrow? We're eager to hear your thoughts and experiences. Share your insights in the comments below, and let's continue this journey of self-discovery together. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I am thankful for you joining us. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and never stop seeking wisdom.